20 of the fantasy baseball season. And what a season it's been and how quick it's going with a few more weeks before playoffs for fantasy baseball. So here's a few pitchers that can help you on the waiver wire this week and hopefully make the playoffs or go deep into the playoffs. The first guy's Joshua Gray of the Washington Nationals. I've mentioned Gray a few times over the last month here in ads to get on the waiver wire for starting pitchers. And on the season for Gray, we know not much under his belt, but he was a big piece in that trade for Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. So on the season, 30 innings, 0-1 record, 25 hits, 13 runs, 11 homers, 10 walks, 35 strikeouts, a 3.90 ERA, and a 1.17 whip with 2 quality starts. In the last couple weeks here for Gray, 12 innings, 0-1 record, 10 hits, 5 runs, 5 homers, a walk, 10 Ks, a 3.75 ERA, and a 0.92 whip with 2 quality starts in the time here for Gray. So Gray, we know he's on a national team that's rebuilding. We know he's not going to get many wins, but he has good strikeout rate, pretty good ERA, and he's pitching great ball games pretty much for a youngster in his last 3 outings. August 7th at Atlanta, 5 innings, 4 hits, a run, a homer, 2 walks, 10 Ks, a 1.80 ERA, a 1.20 whip. August 13th versus Atlanta, 6 innings, got the loss, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 homers, 6 Ks, a 4.50 ERA, 0.83 whip, and a quality start. And August 18th versus Toronto, 6 innings, no decision, 2 runs, 2 homers, a walk, 4 Ks, a 3 ERA, a 1 whip, and a quality start. So the last 2 outings versus pretty good hitting ball clubs, he went out there and gave quality starts to fantasy owners, and he's got a favorable matchup August 25th at the Marlins. So right now, I think Gray's one of the better pickups this week on the waiver wire, and he's available still in 64% of fantasy leagues. The next pitcher is Chris Flexen of the Seattle Mariners. So throughout the season, he's been on the ad list a lot this year, is Flexen, but he's still available in 53% of leagues. So this year, what a turnaround season it's been for him, where he's pretty much done nothing throughout his career with the New York Mets. Then he went to Japan last season, and this year he was a diamond in the rough finding here for the Mariners. 133 in the third, 10-5 record, 139 hits, 54 runs, 14 homers, 27 walks, 90 Ks, a 3.65 ERA, 1.25 whip, and 12 quality starts. So he's surprising, just like this Mariner team that is still in the hunt this late into the season. And the last couple weeks here for Flexen, 13 innings, no record, 10 hits, 3 runs, a homer, 2 walks, 8 Ks, a 2.08 ERA, and a 0.92 whip with 2 quality starts in the time. So he's going out there each and every 5th day, and he's definitely contributing, and he's definitely having a good season here for this Mariner team. And it also helps he's in a division where there's not many great hitting teams besides maybe Houston and Oakland. So August 13th versus Toronto, 6 innings, no decision, 6 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 3 Ks, a 3 ERA, 1.17 whip, and a quality start. August 19th at the Rangers, 7 innings, no decision, 4 hits, 1 run, a homer, a walk, 5 Ks, a 1.29 ERA, 0.71 whip, and a quality start. So right here, his next outing's tomorrow, August 24th in Oakland, and I think he'll go out there and pitch well once again. So right now, Flexen, he just hasn't been getting much respect this season, and a lot of people think he's a fluke still, but right now, he's having a good year, and he's still available at 53% of fantasy leagues. The next pitcher is Tucson of the Atlanta Braves. So this Brave team, they're rolling right now, winning 9 or 10 in a row, I believe. And Tucson, since he came off the injured list, he's been a good pitcher for this Brave team. On the season, not much is in terms of stats. 39 innings, 3-2 record, 31 hits, 16 runs, 7 homers, 14 walks, 40 Ks, 3.69 ERA, a 1.15 whip, and 3 quality starts. But the last couple weeks here for Tucson, 16 2/3, 2-0 record, 5 runs, 3 homers, 8 walks, 17 Ks, a nice 2.70 ERA, and a 1.20 whip with a quality start. So right here, this Brave team, they're riding high like I mentioned. It looks like they might run away here with the National League East, the way they've been playing, and how poorly the Phillies and the Mets have been playing. In Tucson, he's been a big part of it since he came back here. This team is starting to get healthy as well. Yon is coming back. Ian Anderson should be back soon. and Tucson's been pitching good, so the last few outings for him. August 11th versus Cincy, 5 innings, no decision, 4 hits, 2 runs, a homer, 3 walks, 5 Ks, 3.60 ERA, a 1.40 whip. August 16th at the Marlins, 6 in the third, 3 hits, got the win, 2 runs, 2 homers, 2 walks, 7 Ks, a 2.84 ERA, 0.79 whip, and a quality start. And August 22nd at the Baltimore Orioles, 5 in the third, got the win, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 5 Ks, 1.69 ERA, a 1.50 whip. So right here, I know the last 2 outings have been very favorable matchups here for Tucson and the Braves, but he's still going out there, he's still producing, and the only down thing on him is just his walks, and he don't go that deep into ball games, 5-6 innings at max, but right now he's getting the job done. He's helping the Braves, and he definitely can help fantasy owners, and he's still out there in 52% of fantasy leagues. The next pitch is Louis Gill of the New York Yankees, so he's been very impressive so far in a small sample size in the season here for Gill. 15 2/3, 1-0 record, still no runs given up, 9 hits, a 1.02 whip, a quality start, 7 walks, and 18 strikeouts. So Gill, he was supposed to pitch in yesterday's game versus the Minnesota Twins, but obviously that game was rained out with this tropical storm around the East Coast here. But Gill, he's been pitching well, and he's on a Yankee team that's definitely been going off the last couple weeks and got right back into the race. They're leading in there with the wild card as one of the 2 teams, and Luis Gill is definitely a big part of it. So right outing for him, August 17th versus Boston, 4 2/3, 3 hits, no runs, 4 walks, 4 Ks, a 1.50 whip. So right now, we're just waiting and seeing if Gill's going to pitch his next outing one of these days. He was supposed to pitch yesterday versus Minnesota, like I mentioned. And now they got a tough series coming up at the Atlanta Braves here, the Yankees, where the Braves are one of the best teams right now in the last few weeks, winning 10 in a row here. But Luis Gill, he's giving the Yankees a boost in the arm they needed in the few starts he's pitched. And fantasy owners, they're paying attention to it. He's only available in 62% of fantasy leagues, and his ownage has gone up 5% in the last few days. So I think Luis Gill, as long as he could keep it going, obviously he's not going to go the whole season without giving up a run, but he's going to be a productive player, and he's a guy you definitely should add this week. The next pitch is Tyler Anderson of the Seattle Mariners. So Anderson, we know he got traded from the Pirates to the Mariners right around the trade deadline, and he's been pretty decent on the season. 130 1/3, 6-8 record, 127 hits, 59 runs, 19 homers, 28 walks, 105 strikeouts, a 4.07 ERA, 1.19 whip, and 8 quality starts in the last couple weeks here for Anderson. 16 2/3, 1-0 record, 17 hits, 4 runs, 2 homers, a walk, 12 Ks, 2.16 ERA, a 1.08 whip with a quality start in the time. So right here was a good pickup for the Mariners. The Mariners, they're still in the hunt here. And in the last 3 games Anderson started, the Mariners have won those ball games. August 11th versus Texas, 5 1/3, no decision, 6 hits, 1 run, 4 Ks, a 1.69 ERA, a 1.13 whip. August 17th at Texas, 6 innings, got the win, 3 hits, 1 run, a homer, 4 Ks, a 1.50 ERA, 0.50 whip, and a quality start. And August 22nd at the Houston Astros, 5 1/3, no decision, 8 hits, 2 runs, a homer, a walk, 4 Ks, a 3.38 ERA, and a 1.69 whip. So Anderson, he's gone out there. He's definitely getting the job done here for the Mariners. And fantasy owners, they're not really paying attention to him right now, where this guy could definitely give you quality starts. He's not going to give up many runs, and his strikeout rate's pretty decent as well. So right now, he's available in a whopping 79% of fantasy leagues. And in my opinion, that number should go up because he's going out there and getting the job done. The next pitch is Michael Gibbons of the Cincinnati Reds. So the Reds, they might have found their closer in Gibbons here after pretty much going through 4 or 5 guys throughout the season here. And Gibbons on the season, 39 1/3, 3-2 record, 4 saves, 29 hits, 11 runs, 5 homers, 21 walks, 44 strikeouts, a 2.52 ERA, and a 1.27 whip in the last couple weeks here for him. Only 3 2/3, 2 saves with a blown one at that, 2 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 5 Ks, a 4.91 ERA, and a 1.64 whip. So Gibbons right now, big situations here for him and the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds right now, they passed the Padres for one of those wild card spots. So they're winning a lot of ball games. And Gibbons, he's going to get a lot of chances, in my opinion, over the next few weeks here before the season closes out. So right now, if you need some closer help, I think Gibbons is a good add. Obviously, he's on a good team. And like I mentioned, he's going to get a lot of opportunities. And he's available right now in 65% of fantasy leagues. The next pitcher I would look to add this week's Taylor Whitner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So right here, the Diamondbacks, they've been playing a little better over the last couple weeks here. They got a few starters back in this time. Obviously, they got Whitner back. They got Madison Bumgarner. They got the no-hitter from Gabriel. So right here, things are looking up a little bit towards the end of the season for the Diamondbacks, even though they've been one of the worst teams in the league this year. So on the season for Whitner, he missed a lot of time with an injury. 56 innings, 2-1 record, 48 hits, 27 runs, 12 homers, 29 walks, 60 Ks, 4.34 ERA, 1.38 whip in 2 quality starts. But the last couple weeks here, 10 innings, 1-0 record, 3 hits, 2 runs, a homer, 8 walks, 10 Ks, a 1.80 ERA, and a 1.10 whip. So right here, pretty good numbers for Whitner. And he's a guy, he's not going to go deep into games, 5 or 6 innings max, but he's going to keep the ball in play. He's going to keep the ball in the park, and he's been pitching good the last couple outings here. August 17th versus Philly, 5 innings, 2 hits, a run, a homer, 3 walks, 5 Ks, a 1.80 ERA, a 1 whip. August 22nd at the Rockies, 5 innings, got the win, a hit, a run, 5 walks, 5 Ks, a 1.80 ERA, and a 1.20 whip. So the problem with Whitner is just his walk rate's going to be high, and obviously with the high pitch count, he's not going to qualify for many quality starts because he's been going 5-6 innings. But like I mentioned, he's going to help an ERA, pretty decent K guy, and he's not giving up many runs. So Taylor Whitner, he's a deep add this week, and he's available in 96% of fantasy leagues. And the next pitcher is Scott Barlow of the Kansas City Royals. So Barlow, he's been one of the better closers this season, even though he's not getting many opportunities with a struggling Royal team this year. 60 innings pitched, 5-3 record, 8 saves, 50 hits, 17 runs, 3 homers, 22 walks, 74 Ks, a 2.55 ERA, and a 1.20 whip in the last couple weeks here for Barlow. 7 1/3, 1-0 record, 2 saves, 6 hits, 1 run, a homer, a walk, 5 Ks, a 1.23 ERA, and a 0.95 whip. So right now, Barlow, he's still available in a whopping 70% of fantasy leagues. And if you need some saves, I don't think he's a bad add. I know Kansas City don't win that many games, but this kid's going out there. He's getting good strikeouts with 74 in 60 innings. His ERA is pretty low on the season, and he's just getting an opportunity right now. So right now, I've seen worse closes on some fantasy teams here, and I think Barlow could help teams. And even if he gets 1 or 2 saves a week, it's not the worst thing in the world. And he's pretty much helping in all these other categories that are good for closers. So I think Barlow is definitely worth an add this week. The next pitcher is Miles Mikolas of the St. Louis Cardinals. So Mikolas, he's been out pretty much the whole season with injury, but he returned on Friday from the injured list, and he pitched a decent outing. On the season for him, only 9 innings, so 2 starts under his belt, 0-1 record, 5 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 8 Ks, a 1 ERA, and an 0.89 whip. And his latest outing, August 20th, in his return versus the Pirates. He didn't pitch bad in that one. 5 innings, got the loss though, 2 hits, got 1 earned run charged to him, 2 walks, 5 Ks, but a no ERA obviously, and a 0.80 whip. So right now, he's available, Mikolas, in 82% of fantasy leagues, and I don't blame owners not trusting this guy. You're going out there and running to the waiver wire to get him. He pretty much hasn't pitched in 2 seasons, only 9 innings with the season-ending Tommy John last year, and then the rehab and the other injuries this season here. His next outings, those August 26th at Pittsburgh, another favorable matchup. And this Cardinal team, they're trying to make a late push here to try to make the wild card or somehow try to catch Milwaukee, which is highly doubtful. But right here, Mykonos, he definitely could give him a boost. And he definitely can help fantasy owners who have a couple pitchers on their team that they're not sure about. Because I think Mykonos, he's a good pitcher. And we've seen it in his career, even though he hasn't pitched really in the last 2 seasons. So he's more of a deeper league ad as well but he's definitely available in a wide range of fantasy leagues at 82%. And the final pitcher I've looked at on the waiver wire this week's Eli Morgan of the Cleveland Indians. So Eli Morgan, he's been pretty solid the last few outings here, even though his total numbers on the season aren't anything great. 54 and a third, 2-5 record, 55 hits, 35 runs, 12 homers, 12 walks, 54 strikeouts, a 5.80 ERA, 1.23 whip in 3 quality starts. But the last couple weeks here for Morgan, 10 innings, 1-1 record, 6 hits, 5 runs, 5 walks, 9 Ks, a 4.50 ERA, 1.10 whip in a quality start. So Morgan, he's been pretty surprising, especially the last 3 out of 4 starts. He's gone out there and pitched very good baseball here for the Indians. And his next outing is tomorrow versus the Texas Rangers, which is another favorable matchup. And Morgan, he's still available in 95% of fantasy leagues. So the last few outings for him, August 2nd at Toronto, 6 innings, no decision, 5 hits, 2 runs, a homer, a walk, 9 Ks, a 3 ERA, a 1 whip, and a quality start. August 7th versus Detroit, 7 innings, got the tough loss, 6 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 3 Ks, a 2.57 ERA, 1 whip, and a quality start. August 12th versus Oakland, he got hit pretty hard, 4 innings, got the loss, 3 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, a K, 11.25 ERA, a 1.50 whip. And then August 17th in Minnesota, 6 innings, got the win, 3 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 8 Ks, an 0.83 whip, and a quality start. So the last 3 out of 4 outings, he's got 3 quality starts. He's pitching well, he's pitching deep into games, and that's all you could ask for. I know Cleveland's not the best of teams, but that AL Central isn't really anything scary as well, besides the Chicago White Sox as the only legit team pretty much in that division. So I think Morgan could go out there. He could be a guy you could add and be at the back end of your bench. And he definitely goes out there and competes and could get the job done. So I like Morgan as an ad this week. So that's a few pitchers I look to add here in week 20 of the fantasy baseball season.